All right. Hello and welcome to the week 4 class. Um, so we'll wait a little bit for people to join in. Oh, my voice is glitching again. Oh my god. Yeah, that's okay, Bryn. So my voice is glitching again. That's not good. Is it bad? Hmm. I don't really understand why that's happening. I also turned off noise suppression again. So I don't know why it's still happening. It's it's gone? Okay. I don't know what I did, but okay. All right. So this class will be about user interaction and dynamic UI elements. We will be setting up a HUD UI for the first time. So, okay. So I just need to stay a bit quiet. Got it. All right. Let me switch. Let me turn on my screen real quick. There we go. All right. So like I said, we will be setting up a HUD UI in this class and making UI elements that change with game behavior. Like for example, a health bar, when someone dies, you see game over on your screen, stuff like that. Oh yeah, that is. May you go through fade animations with HUD? Yeah, I can probably include that. All right, so if you guys haven't yet checked this out, mic is a tad annoying. Yeah, I don't know how to fix it, unfortunately. It's weird because it only happens during this class. Normally I don't have this issue at all. So it doesn't make any sense. All right. Anyway, I hope it's you guys can deal with my mic. I don't know why it happens. I also It also doesn't happen on the on the recording, so that's also weird. It's literally just in Discord. It's very weird. But anyway, if you guys haven't checked it out yet, this document I posted it in the class resources channel. There is a link here for a download. We will be using that, so make sure to go here and download that. It basically includes a prefab that's pretty much already set up for HUD UI, and it includes some a mobile and PC guide, so you can work around Rec Room's actual UI, so it doesn't overlap. It's really useful. So I'm gonna download that real quick, and then I'm going to load up my project. Yeah, I made sure to update my Rec Room Studio beforehand. Oh, I don't think I updated Rec Room, so I'll have to do that as well. Alright, my project is open. Yeah, Rec Room has an update every week, so. Okay, so my project is loaded. So the first thing, like I said, download this one right here. Once you've done that, you can just go to your downloads and open it. And then it should open it in Unity. And then just click import. And now you should have the HUD UI guides with the HUD prefab. So this prefab is pretty much already all set up. You don't really have to do much to it. All you have to do is just add your content to it, what you want to add to your HUD, pretty much. So this is what we will be using to start off. So I will open that. Okay, and as you can see, there's a few things here. You can see these like dots, these circles around. This is the PC and mobile Rec Room UI. So if I disable this one, so this is what the mobile Rec Room UI looks like. So by seeing this, you can kind of work your UI around this so that it doesn't overlap with the Rec Room UI. And if I disable mobile and turn on PC, that is what the PC version looks like. So that it's not perfect, these guides, but because the Rec Room UI scales with different sized devices, so it's not perfect, but it should, if you avoid these areas, it should roughly be these should roughly be where Rec Room UI is. So if you avoid this, then you should be all good. Alright, so you will also see this place content in here. So anything you want to add, just add it in this one, just like the example text. So the first thing we will be doing is make this a game over screen that displays when the player's health is 0. So this will be very simple. We can literally just use this example text. We can just change that to game over. Make it a little bit bigger. That is very big. And I'm also going to put a little box around it, so it's not just text in your screen, so it looks a little bit nicer. So you can pretty much style this however you want. It just has to be a game over screen that we can show when someone dies. So as you can see, what I'm doing here is I'm extending this box outside the bounds of the UI. I'm doing that so for VR it doesn't just cut off, because for VR the HUD is like floating a little bit in front of the player's eyes, sort of. So if it's just until here, like if it's like that, then it will just cut off basically. And that's not really very nice. So I'm extending it a lot so that it just looks like it goes on forever. Okay, so now we have a little game over thing. I think I'm, just to make it a little bit more fun, I'm going to rotate a little bit. Okay, so this is our game over screen. That's what I'm going to call it as well. Game over screen. And then all we have to do is just set up a function. So go to the HUD, and then in the inspector, you can add a function. Call that function something like set game over screen enabled or something like that. Add an input port that is a bool. And then drag in the game over screen into the instructions. And then for the method, we want to set it active. And then set the bool value to the one we just created. That's pretty much it. But right now, couldn't you just do a set active on off on a Unity event? You can use Unity events if you want. Unity events, in my opinion, are not very good. Functions are just a lot better, mainly because you can do so much more with functions. So I generally like to stay away from Unity events because they can be kind of annoying, and you can just do a lot more with studio functions. All right. Currently, if we just load this into Rec Room, our HUD will by default already show game over. We don't want that because we're not dead yet. So if you want this to not show game over when you just load in the game, you can disable or toggle the active state. There we go. And now it doesn't. But now these guides are showing still. So we can just turn off the guides as well. So now our UI will be just empty, our HUD, and then we can use the function to enable the game over screen. So I'm going to save this HUD. There we go. We do also need to put in the HUD into our world. So we can just drag in the HUD prefab into our world like that. Make sure you know where this circuit board is located, or object board, because we're going to need that. Or if you don't have it, we won't be able to set the function and make the function work in game. So make sure you put this somewhere where you can find it. All right, I'm going to load up Rec Room so we can test it out. Is there any questions about this so far, by the way? Oh, yep, my Rec Room needs to update. Well, this is gonna take a little bit again. Yep, awkward silence. For the studio function. So this is how the studio function is set up. I called it set game over screen enabled, then added a Boolean input port, and then drag in the game over screen, set the method to active set, game object, active, and then set. And then for the value, we just do the input port that we created. That update is going really slow. All right, that's all good. Were you able to follow the recordings, by the way, and to catch up? Did everything work out? Yeah? Okay, good. Good. I'm pretty certain that we'll have some spare time for the RecNet image. This update is really taking its time. Yeah, if you want, I can quickly go over what I've done so far, because the update is still going to take a little bit. Alright, so I'll just delete what I have here, and then I'll show you it again. Okay, so this is the HUD prefab. Any content we want to add, we need to place it in this one right here. Oh, you already got it working, nice. Alright, so I'm just going to add an image real quick. It's all, the HUD prefab is in, if you go to the class resources channel, there's this document, and then you can download it right here. So pretty much anything that we're doing right now, like adding this game over screen, we've already done that mostly in the past classes. So it should be very straightforward. It's just adding an image and then text into it, pretty much. Oh, update is almost done. How do you make the image transparent? Okay, so on the image, you can click on the color, and then the bottom one that says A, that's the alpha channel. If you drag that down, you can make it transparent. I'm not sure what the update is doing right now. Oh, there we go. Okay. It's done. You want to add an... So where are you trying to create the animation controller? So in the HUD UI guides folder? Yeah. Okay, let's see if I can do that. Yeah, I can make a... Ah, yeah, that's an yeah, okay. Okay. Let me load up the room. And I just realized I still have my things enabled. So you'll see what that looks like, I guess, if you forget to disable the default for the default screen. Hello, it's all good. We haven't really done much yet, so I'm sure you can catch up. All we've done is if you go into the class resources channel, there's this document and this link. You just need to download this, and that's pretty much it. That's we're using that for HUD UI right now. Okay, yeah. So as you can see, it already says game over because I forgot to disable it. And you can also see that these little UI guides line up very closely with the Rec Room UI. So if you just avoid those, then your UI should be all good. What is what in the first place? Yeah, so since I forgot it, I'm just going to quickly disable these. The thing that I showed, what the thing to download? So if you download this, it's basically a prefab that is all set up correctly for HUD UI. It basically when you open the prefab, this is what you'll see. You'll see a canvas that's already set up, and this thing which is guides. It basically shows you where the Rec Room UI roughly will be located. There's a PC and a mobile guide so that you can make your UI around the Rec Room UI so it doesn't overlap. It can be very useful. All right, let me test mine again. Now that I've disabled it. The VR UI, you don't have to follow any guides because there's no UI elements on VR. On for VR, you can just do whatever you want. Okay, now it doesn't show the HUDs or the game over screen. So we should have a function that we can connect to the HUDs. We've been going for like 30 minutes, but all we've done is add a game over screen, which is pretty much just this. It's just an image with text. Yeah, it's already 37 minutes actually. That update took most of the time. The Rec Room update. Alright, so using this, we can basically make it so when the player's health goes to 0, they'll see this screen. So let me disable the screen for now. So what we will need is an int variable. If you don't know, an int variable is, well, it's basically two parts. An int is a number, like a whole number, not a decimal number, just a whole number. And a variable is a way to store data. So in this case, an int variable would be storing numbers, basically. So if we configure this one, we can rename it to be health, for example. And then we can also set the default value. So when you load into the room, this value will be automatically set, basically. Currently it's at 0, so when you join the room, it will default to 0. We can set it to 100, so 100 health will be the default. So if we get our connect tool, that is now 100. So we've got 100 health. Now we need to make it so we can detect when the health changes. We can do this using an event receiver. And if we configure the event receiver, there should be an option called health changed. So this event will be fired when the health chain has changed. For the health bar, we will be doing a health bar later on. I think that's like down here. Yeah, create a health bar that updates as the player's health changes. So we will be doing that later in this class, but first we will be doing this one, which is the game over screen. Alright, so when health changes, we need to check if it is 0. So we can do that using an if, and then equals less or equal. So right now, what this will do is it will check the health value. If it's less or equal to 0, then it will fire this one. If it's not less or equal, then it will fire the else one. So we can just move this one up here and there. Now we've got 2. So if it's less or equals, then show the game over screen. If it's not less, then hide the game over screen. So now if I set my health to 0 by just running this, you'll see game over. And if I set it not to 0, like 1, then we are not dead yet. So now we've got a very basic health game over screen setup. Is there any questions about this? Mr. VR, this works for multiplayer as well, because this health variable is local. So if my health drops, then only my variable changes. It's not a synced variable. If you want, let's say you want every player in the room to have the same health, then you can set this to synced, and then when anyone in the room loses health, then but you're ending the game after it drops. Wait, what do you mean? Yeah, you can make it say you died if you want. That's fully up to you. It doesn't really matter. I just chose game over. Alright, so that is set up. Let me save this to Studio. Alright. Now let's move on to showing a score. Like, let's say you're playing like a paintball game and you want to see the score at the top of the screen or something like that. So we go back into the HUD. I'm going to turn on the guides again so we can see where we shouldn't place things. So it looks like the top is fairly free, so we can put stuff there. So I'm just going to add an image. And inside that image, I will be adding text. Again, you can style this however you want. That's completely up to you. put the color to be orange for the image. I mean, you can do that if you want. I'm just gonna stick with a little transparent dark color. Right, so now we've got that. Okay, so we've got the score. It's just an image with text. I'm going to rename this to score. And then all we have to do is set up a function. So we can add a new function and call that something like set score. We need an input port that is a string. Even though you might think that this is a number, so it should be an int, right? But no, not really, because text in UI can only be set using strings. So even though if it might look like a number, it's still a string. So it's a bit weird, but that's just how that works. Alright, so now just drag in the score text in the instructions, and then the method will be text mesh pro, and then go to the t, the lowercase t, and then text set, and then set the string to the input port, and that is pretty much it. So now we will be able to set this to the score in game using circuits. So I will run it and test it out. Okay, so this is loaded. As you can see at the top of my screen, you can now see the 0, which indicates our score. And pretty much the same as we did before. So I will be just copying these two up here. And then instead of it being health, I will call it score. And for this one, we don't want the default value to be 100, because then everyone just starts with the score 100. We just want it to be 0. Oh, did I not update the name? There we go. And then the event needs to be score changed. See if we can find it. There we go. Okay, so now, so the function will be setting in a string, like I said, but we can still store it as an int, like as a number. We just need to convert it into a string so we can put it in the function. So let me get the function here. Where did my cursor go? There it is. So the function is set score. So as you can see, this takes a string, but we have an int. So that's not going to work. As you can see, that doesn't work. So we need to convert it. And we can do that using toString. So we can connect it to the string, and this can connect literally to anything. In this case, an int, and you'll see that that converts the int 0 to string 0. So that will allow us to show our score. So as you can see at the top of our screen, now says 100. You can change it to whatever or set it to whatever you want. But now there is one issue. If we make it a very big number, you'll see that it kind of goes outside the box. We can easily fix that. We can make it so that the box sort of sizes or scales with the number. So I will show you how to do that. Okay, so first we'll have to make it so that the bounds of the text or the number scales with the content of the text. Yes, scalable. Yeah. So currently you'll see that the bounds are bigger than the actual content, the 0. We want to make it so it isn't bigger, so it's exactly the same size. So we can add a new component to this. We can go into layout and then content size fitter. So the vertical fit, I will keep it as is, but the horizontal, which is left to right, we want to set that to preferred size. So as you can see right now, it has already shrunken to the exact size of the 0. And if we change this to like 10 or 100, you'll see that it automatically sizes with it, which is exactly what we want. But you'll also see that it still goes outside of the box. So now we need to make the box scalable. To do that, we need to add a few things, a few components to the box, which is also a content size fitter with horizontal fit turned on. You'll see that that just shrinks it even more. But we're not done yet. We need to also add either horizontal layout group or vertical layout group. I'll just do horizontal layout group. And there you go. It's already better. We just need to turn on the width and height for control child size. And there you go. It's perfect size. But I do want to add a little bit of spacing because it's not very nice. It feels very cramped. So we can add left and right spacing. I'll do like 15, maybe 20. There we go. So now if we change the value of the number, you'll see that it automatically changes the box, which is exactly what we want. So I will save this and test it so you can see it in game. Is there any questions about this? Is anyone running into issues with making this scalable? Content size for the text, because the bounds of the text also need to scale. Because here, I'll show it real quick. If I turn off the content size of the text, it somehow still works. That's interesting. Okay, I guess you don't need that. In my experience, I've always needed that, but guess you don't. Alright, so let's see what this looks like in game. If my cursor wants to work. There we go. It scales with the number. What did I use for the background image? I'm using the UI shapes that I have given you guys in the first class. I'm using the box rounded one. If you don't have it, you can go into, or you can just go on here, go to my profile, text tutorials, and then week 1, and then it should be somewhere here, I think. Maybe not. Oh, I think I sent that in the... Oh, the components. So on the background image, the components that you'll need is content size fitter and horizontal layout group. Mr. Ink, if yours is off center, you can... I'm guessing that's your text that's off center. Make sure if you go on your text that the alignment is both set to center. I'm guessing that that's your issue. Alright, so now we have a score, HUD UI element, and a game over screen. The next part will be a health bar, which is fairly simple because we've made a XP bar in the last class. So, and this is very similar to that. We could technically just copy the XP bar and change it a little bit, but for the people who have missed it, I will just redo it completely. So right click on this one and then go to UI, slider. Now we have a slider, which will be our health bar. Inside the slider, we want to remove the handle. There we go, because we won't need that. And then I'm just going to fix these spacings because I absolutely hate how that's always set up by default. Just going to set everything to 0. Okay, there we go. And then I'm going to update. Actually, hold on. There. Okay, now I've got my slider correctly set up how I want it. I'm just going to set the images to my custom box rounded because it looks a lot better. There we go. All right. Now I'm just going to change the colors real quick and make it less rounded. So I'm guessing I'm just going to put it like down here at the bottom. At the bottom of the screen. There it is. And I'm going to make it the same height as the score, which is 100. Actually, that might be very tall. That is very tall. I'll do 50. Yep, that is a good one. Check the mobile UI if something overlaps. Nope, doesn't seem like it overlaps at all, so this should be all good. And I'm just gonna make it red because it's health. I'm going to make it a little bit transparent and the background as well. There we go. We've got a health bar. Now on the slider, I'm going to rename it to health bar just to make it a little bit easier. And I'm going to set it to whole numbers and then from 0 to 100. And the default will be 100 as well. So now we just need a function again to set the value of the health bar. So I'm going to HUD, create a new function, and then call it set health. add an input port, and in this case it will need to be a float. So first we had an int, so the health is an int because it's a whole number, but for sliders, or in this case the health bar, you can only use floats to set the value. And a float is basically just a number, but instead of it being a whole number, a float can be a decimal number as well. So there's not a big difference, but it does need to be a float. Otherwise you won't be able to set the value of the health bar. Alright, so I'm just going to drag in the health bar and select the method slider and then value set, and then select the input port. That is pretty much it. So we can go in game and test it out. Is everyone able to follow along? Anyone running into issues? All right. You guys are quick learners. All right, so as you can see at the bottom, we've got a nice health bar now. And my cursor is messing up again. All right. So now we want to make it when the health changes, your health bar updates as well. Why is my health 0? That needs to be 100 by default. Alright, so we can get the function we made. Set it to set health. And as you can see, it takes a float. But since we have an int, they don't go together. So we need to turn the int into a float, which we can do with int to float. Just connect it to the int and then to the float. So as you can see, int 100 gets turned into float 100. Don't you need a general or equals? What do you mean? I'm not sure what you mean by that. For the updated part? No, not really. Oh, I do need to put it in there, by the way. So let me arrange this a little bit so you can see it better. So this set health will just go in between the event receiver and the if. So now if I change my health to like 50, you'll see my health bar changes. And then if we go down to all the way to 0, it says game over. And my health bar is now all the way down. So that's pretty much That's pretty much it. Is there any questions about this? Okay, I'm not seeing any questions, so oh, okay, that's all good. When you set your stuff, the event does not send. Do you mean when you set the health, this event does not fire? Is that what? Okay. That's weird. Are you sure you have this event set to the correct one? That is weird then. Let me look at your screenshot. Okay. Could it be that your variable already is the value that you're changing it to? Because the event only fires if it's a new value. Like if this one, like as you can see, it's already 100 and I change it to 100 again, it doesn't fire. It only fires if it's a different value, as you can see. Oh, the event was blank? That's weird. Okay. This is pretty much all for this class. So we have a lot of free time. The RecNet image. All right. I'll quickly go over that. Let me send this to Studio. So what we'll do is I'll just add my profile image or the player's profile image on the HUD. It's not really necessary because there's already the default one by Rec Room, but just to show you how to add a RecNet image. So where should I add that? I guess I'll just put it above the health bar maybe. I don't really know. So first I'm going to add an image again. Set that, because I want it to be kind of nicely rounded, just like everything else. So I'm going to use box rounded. There we go. Let's position this above the health bar. Okay. Then what we want to do is add a mask to this one. So add component and then mask. And that will make sure that anything inside of this image will not go outside of these curved edges. And then on this image, we can add another, actually just create empty. And this will be the RecNet image. So I'm just going to call it RecNet image, and this one the profile image. So on the RecNet image, we want it to be exactly the same size as this box. So we can change this to the spacing option and then all to 0. Yep. Okay. Yeah, so set this to the spacing and then all to 0. That should make sure it's always the same size. And then add component RecNet image. And then I'll just turn on crop square because we've got a square here. And that is pretty much it. All we have to do now is just make a function again to set the RecNet image. So we can go into HUD again, then make a function, call it set profile image. The input port needs to be RecNet image. And then for the instruction, we drag in the RecNet image and then select the method Rec Room Studio RecNet image and then image set and select the input port. That's it. Now you've got a working, yeah, I'll test it so you can see how it works in game. Yeah, the circuits are fairly simple. All right. My cursor hates Rec Room. Okay. So let's say we want to set our profile image when the room loads. So let's do event receiver, configure that to be room loaded. And then we need the function which is set profile image. I also like to put a 2-second delay between room loaded, because sometimes it messes up and doesn't work. So connect the HUD, and then we need a RecNet image. You, as far as I know, you can get someone's profile image or like an inventory item image. In this case, we will be getting the profile image. Player get profile image. There it is. And that is it. So if we run this, now we have our profile image at the bottom of our screen. And it's nicely rounded because of the mask. Yep. All right. Is there any questions or anything you want me to show you how to do with HUD UI? Because we've still got quite a long time in this class. We've got a lot of free time. Um, yeah, probably just Rec Room. Okay, someone's live avatar on a canvas. I guess that could be fun to sort of show. It is a bit advanced, so prepare, I guess. Prepare yourself. Okay. Um, I guess I'll add it to this UI. Actually, maybe it would be fun to, instead of the profile image at the bottom of my screen, I add a live view of my face, maybe? Have both? Okay, let's see if we can do this. So, first we go into... actually, first we need to make a new prefab. Actually, do we? Not really. We can just do it all in the HUD. Okay, so in the HUD, we need to make a camera, not inside of the canvas, but outside of the canvas. We add a camera. There we go. And this camera, we need to delete the audio listener from it. And this is always, a lot of fidgeting with just getting it exactly how you want, because there's a lot of different settings for cameras. For me, I think I'm going with orthographic, which is basically flat projection. There won't be any perspective. And then the background type, we want to set it to a solid color and then completely transparent. There we go. Okay, so the camera should be set up, and then we need to make a render texture. So we can, in your assets, you can go to create, and then there should be render texture somewhere. Yep, right here. Okay, you can set the resolution to whatever you want. Just keep in mind that the higher the resolution, the more laggy it will be. So be careful what you do here. I'm just going to set it to 512. And it just 2D. And that should all be good. Then we go back into the camera. And where you see output, we need to select the render texture that we just made. Okay. Oh, wait. Did I just... Yeah, okay. I did do it correctly. Okay, so this camera will now project what it's seeing onto this render texture. And then this render texture, we can display that anywhere we want. For example, right here where we had the profile image. To do that, we just delete the RecNet image that we had before. And instead, I will now add another image inside this profile image and make sure that that scales to the correct size. And then where you see image, you cannot just drag in the render texture into source image. We need to make it a material and then display the material. So right click in your assets, then create, and then material. Call that whatever you want. Like, for example, I'll just call it player view or something. And then we need to configure the material. I like to always set it to a different shader than lit, because lit, if you're in a dark environment, then you won't be able to see what the material is, pretty much. So I set it to unlit, so it's always visible. And then where it says base map, you'll see a little square to the left of it. We can just drag in the render texture there. And that is pretty much it for the material. Then we go back to the image and then drag in the material onto the material slot. There we go. And that is now showing the material, but for some reason it's not being masked. Not sure why that is. There we go. Just had to set the material to transparent, by the way. Alright, this won't work fully yet, because we need to make sure that we can position the camera in front of the player's face. To do that, we need to make a function again. So just go to functions and create one. And then camera transform or something like that. We need 2 input ports. One of them is a vector of 3. Vector of 3 is basically a position. It's like x, y, and z coordinates. And then we also need a quaternion, which is rotation. So I'll call these position and rotation. Then drag in the camera. And then transform. And then position set. And then the second one is transform rotation set. Okay. Now that is set up, so we can test it out. Oh, right. I forgot to remove that because we don't have the profile image anymore. Yep, now there's a wrong circuit. Just delete that. Okay. Oh, if you look at the bottom, you can already see me walking there, which is kind of funny. So you can already see that the camera is on. We just need to make sure that it's positioned in front of our face. So to do that, let me just remove these. So we need an event that constantly runs. So you can use either update or update 30 Hertz. I'll just use update because it's smoother. Then we need a bunch of circuits. First, let's get the function. Camera transform. Then we need to get the head position and the head forward vector. I'll just quickly do these circuits and then explain how it actually works. Wait, that is wrong. Okay. Why am I off the camera? Let me send this to Studio real quick and check something. Um, like you could probably see, my character was very small on this camera view. Yeah, it's either behind me or I'm just very small on it. Um, that's because of this projection that I'm using, the orthographic. Um, it's a lot of fidgeting with this. So I'll just have to, yeah, you just kind of have to fidget with this to get the right sizing. Wait, so is it behind me? I'm very confused as to where it is. I mean, to be fair, positioned and like quaternions or these things are always very annoying to deal with. Yeah, I don't know. What I can do is just quickly make like an object. So we can actually kind of see where it is being set. Okay, so it is definitely being set behind me. The rotation is not being... Oh yeah, so behind me, wait. So this one needs to go 0.5. Now it's in front of me, which is really annoying. That, oh god, that might have not been a good idea. Okay, I mean, it is being set in front of me, that's good. But the rotation is not good. The rotation is actually not doing anything, which is weird. I've never used inverse. uh, let's see if that works. Inverse of rotation. That does not seem correct. Okay, so just split it. That is still being weird. Quaternions are always very weird. I don't understand them at all. Like, that's correct. CV1 look at. Why is the camera being glitchy? Yeah, I don't know. It might be because... Yeah, I don't know. Um, we might just be better off making a separate camera object. Let's try that. So I'll just copy the camera that we have in here to the new one. Okay, so that is how much the camera will pick up, which is a lot. That's not necessary. Okay, now we need another function. No, this is in a prefab. See, camera prefab. If you have a prefab and you click this little arrow next to it, it opens it in a view in the scene, which can be useful in some instances, like seeing the how much camera will pick up in scale to the actual room. Okay, so set the methods. Yep, 12 minutes left. Okay, I guess we test again. Yes. Okay, let's first of all go in front of this camera and see if we show up. We don't. That's not good. Yep, material and texture are set. I just checked it now. Yeah, I'm not sure why this is not working. I'm standing right in front of the camera. No, it should be facing the correct way. Yeah. I'm not showing up anywhere. Um, let's try something real quick. Let me just add a UI in the scene itself. Yep, not very long anymore. If I can't get this to work, then I'll figure it out for the next class and show you guys then. I do have to leave a couple minutes early because I have a meeting I have to go to. And also, if you haven't seen the announcement yet in the announcements channel, next week there won't be a class because I'm going to the US. I'm going on a trip. So I won't be here for that class. So that class will be in 2 weeks. Oh, yours is working? Oh. Yeah, so everything is pushed 1 week. Yeah, I mean, it might also be because of I'm running this on a VM. Rec Room in general does not really run well on a VM. As you can see, all the images are like faded out. And if I go to the Friends tab, this happens. So it might just because of a VM is a virtual machine. It's like a PC on a PC. It's useful for some cases, but I don't think Rec Room likes it. Show the gadgets real quick. Yep. Just take a screenshot real quick. All right. Okay. I gotta go. So I hope this class was useful with the HUD UI. And well, I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Also, if you're running into issues, have fun at Rec Room HQ. Maybe. Yeah, if you run into issues, just send me a message. I'll help you out. All right. Bye bye.